We've got the battle you've always wanted to see. Wolverine versus Constantine. Find out who wins on the drop list.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess way. You do it too. Bow down, respect, and of course, there's Coco.
Oh, yeah, there she is.
Oh, Coco.
We brought her along Friday. All right, guys. So it's Monday, and we have a brand new drop list for you. We missed last week, so we made this one extra special. And there's a lot of really cool things that happened 1 year ago, and that's kind of how we come up with this drop list. If you're new to this, the ComicGains crew scours the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any kind of comic book list, mind you. And we try to figure out if any of these books are worthwhile buying a year later. And this one was really cool because there was a lot of spec between Deadpool 3 and Constantine possibly coming out. So a lot of the books are heavy in that fashion, and we'll get to see how this battle turns out. We'll also get to see what drink Zach picked today.
I picked out an Angry Orchard because I was feeling very angry today, and only the orchard can calm my anger. So let's get into this, guys and gals and people.
I think it's a twist top, isn't it?
It's not.
Is it not?
You don't want children to get into it.
That's true, probably. Use your eye. You're like...
I could never.
You ever tried that?
Dude, that would hurt so bad. That's how you lose an eye. Yeah, it tastes pretty good. Pretty standard for Angry Orchard.
Is it the dry?
I think it's a little wet.
Oh.
It's wet.
You know what's never dry? Hanging out with the ComicGains crew on Whatnot every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can hang out with Adam and Zach first, where we have the ComicGains show, dollar starts, 30-second auction, tons of fun, amazing prizes, and right after that, at 6 p.m., Princess hosts her very own show, where you have the opportunity to get some amazing books for as little as $1 start.
$1?
Yeah. The most fun on Whatnot you'll ever have. So come hang out with us and kick it. All right. Let's get back to the drop list, guys. We've been doing this every week, except for last week when we missed it, I'm just saying. Every week for a while, and it's a lot of fun. This is a really, really fun way for us to decide like which books maybe we should go after. And a lot of times you forget about them. There's all this hype around like these books like coming out, and the prices shoot up, and everyone's like, I need to get that. And then you just forget, you know? And a year later, you're like, man, I could buy some of these for really cheap. So a lot of our friends in the community have come back and told us like, hey, I was able to pick up a book for really cheap because you guys reported on it on the drop list. And it's a lot of fun. And at the very end, Zach will give you his expert opinion as the slab master around here. He'd be slabbing everything. Whether or not like these books are a good idea to pick up, what his favorite pick of the week is. And sometimes I'll tell you this, some picks are just no good. They're no good.
No, Superman, no.
All right, let's kick it off. And the first book, number 5 on the list, the least dropped one, happens not to be either Wolverine or Constantine. It's kind of cool that they rhyme together. But we got Captain Britain and the MI-13 issue number 1, 2008, Paul Cornell and Brian Hitch. A really cool and exciting book that we only really learned about this last year when it was getting hot. We came across this quite a few times. We're like, this is kind of a cool key, and then it just took off and went to the moon for a little while, and you're like, oh dang, this is actually a really cool book. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what it is, it's first appearance of Dr. Faza Huzan, who later becomes the character Excalibur, and it's also a couple minor stuff where Captain Britain and Spitfire join the MI-13 group, and basically in September of 2022 they got confirmation that Fazan was cast in the Blade 3 movie. Or not Blade 3, I'm thinking Blade 3. Blade 1, the Blade MCU Blade movie. And they were going to use this character. And if you're unfamiliar with her, she has the ability to manipulate, assemble, and disassemble on an atomic level.
Oh,
so it's pretty hardcore. She can like take you apart, put you back together. If you have like really bad wounds, she can like heal your wounds and do all kinds of cool stuff. It'd be really crazy to see that like live action. And I know with the way Blade's been going and them like firing the director and the lead actor like not being happy with the story, that this could totally be out the window. Yeah, like they confirmed that before the writer's strike, before they like that kicked this movie back a couple more years, so this may never even happen. But there's a lot of, we saw like Black Knight kind of leading into Blade at the end of the Eternals movie. There was like the extra little stuff. And for those of you that don't know, Blade's actually British. So,
Crikey.
Yeah. I think that's Australian.
Crikey.
but yeah, in the real comics, he's British. They only switched him to like American for Wesley Snipes. But so it kind of makes sense with all that stuff, MI13, that all this stuff could wrap around that. But we'll see. It's be really exciting. There is a second print that's a really cool wraparound cover you might want to look out for. And there is a Brandon Peterson variant that is kind of expensive. So pretty cool book to look at. But Zach will hit you with them slab numbers, though.
Price a year ago for CGC 9.8. It was very good. It was a very good cup of tea. I'm trying to think of British things. And now it's a warm beer. I don't like warm beer. British people do. I know,
it might be
that
good.
might be cool. It might be good. It might be good.
I'm
certain
sure
beers,
you would drink it, Zach.
Certain beers. It has alcohol in it. Of course I would. But, now it's 160. Range, 160 to 200. Average sell, 180. Not that many sales. 20% drop. There's only 55 total graded, and only 16 of them are 9.8s. So it's going to be kind of hard to find a 9.8. You want to find it in an auction if you can, because you just don't know what it's going to go for. You could get a really crazy good deal on it. You just might, if you really want this book, find a really couple good, nice copies, pre-screen it for 9.8, send it in, maybe 5 of them. So you just guarantee at least probably one of them. Probably would get 9.8. And it's about 29% of 9.8s.
That almost makes it. Almost.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Only 29% of them are 9.8s out of all of them graded. So,
which that's kind of low for a newer book.
Yeah, it is very low.
Yeah.
It's not appreciated.
All right, guys. Let the battle begin, because we're at number 4. And we got The Saga of Swamp Thing, issue number 37 from 1985. Obviously, we don't have this book in the house. We wish we all had this book. This is Stephen Bissett and Alan Moore goodness. The first appearance of John Constantine, the Hellblazer, or as some people say in England, Constantine? Constantine? I think actually Alan Moore says Constantine.
Constantine?
So you can say Constantine or Constantine. I'd love to hear you guys in the comments how you prefer it to be called. But
where's the loot?
In September of 2022, Warner Brothers announced that Keanu Reeves would agree to star in a sequel to the original Constantine movie, which in my opinion was really cool. I love that movie. It was really exciting. And to be honest with you, I hadn't read that much Constantine before watching it. So I know a lot of people said the character was slightly different than in the comics, but to me it was really a fun and exciting movie. And then, it is what it is. But I thought it was really cool. And Keanu Reeves said that it was one of his favorite roles to play, and he would love to do a sequel to it. Well, it was really exciting where everybody's like, sweet, we're finally going to get a Constantine movie. And then James Gunn took over and he's like, whoosh, axed that. Kicked it off the list. But,
stupid.
It's hard to say. I would think, as much as Marvel wanted Keanu to be in one of their movies, I would think James Gunn would agree to something somewhere down the road to put Keanu in a Constantine movie. So it may be cut for now, but I have a feeling we are going to see it later. And that would be, pretty exciting. But be on the lookout below for the Canadian price variant on this book, because it offers you a little bit more money. It is a very expensive book and a very cool cover, but Zach will get you more with them deeper numbers.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Swampy deep.
About something. Prices a year ago for CGC 9.8. It was swampy, it was chain smoky, it was all of that good stuff. Or no, 9.2. I'll explain about the 9.8 in a second. 9.2 is $388. Now it's $300. Range is $233 to the high of $450. Average sales $353. It's a 23% drop. Interesting thing about the 9.8, why I didn't report 9.8 specifically, because there was a sale recently that was over the last year's sale, but the one before that was drastically quite a bit down. I'll give you the numbers without the most recent sale. Like 10 days different. It was a year ago, 1,625. A year ago, now 1,381.
Ooh.
Range $1,200 to $2,000. Average sale is $1,605. It's about a 15% drop if you don't count the recent sale, which was like a buy it now for $1,700 or $1,800, something like that. So there's 3,999 total graded. Only 388 of them are 9.8.
That's low.
Very low.
Real low.
So that's only 9.7% total graded. This is a fantastic
There's beers
book.
that are stronger than that.
Yes, there are beers. Not many, but there are. Actually, I had a 15% beer one time. They call it the beer shot because they only serve you in like this little bit of beer right there. It's pretty good. Anyways, yeah, fantastic. I was going to say, a year ago it was chain smoking. Now you're stuck in a mine and you got the black lung. It's the wrong kind of cough you get for the investment. Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're enjoying smoking and you get a cough, and then you're in a mine and you get the black lung. And,
yeah. I like it. All right. Next up, number 3 on the list. We're looking at Wolverine issue 88 from 1994. Larry Hama and Adam Kubert. Great cover. A great Adam Kubert cover from the Kubert family. This is the first battle of Wolverine and Deadpool. A super hot book last year. Everybody and their mom was looking for it. I think my mom even called me and asked, like, do you got that book? I don't know why. Mom. I don't know why she called, but she did.
No, Mom.
But big deal. Obviously, we had the Deadpool 3 confirmed that Ryan Reynolds asked Hugh Jackman to reprise his role of Wolverine, as we all know, even though he said he was never going to do it again after Logan. Somehow they convinced him. We've seen some really cool pictures where he's wearing the actual yellow uniform. I don't know that whole debate about the long sleeves. Like, I don't care if he's in long sleeves or short sleeves, unless you really want to see some like big old hairy arms, I guess. But I don't remember him really showing off these really hairy arms, right?
Not really.
So it's like, the comics for sure, but I don't remember Hugh Jackman with these really hairy arms. But we all know the writer's strike is just ending, and a lot of these movies have been pushed back a little bit, and hopefully there's nothing that happens with this movie, because Ryan Reynolds does a lot of his own writing, ad-libbing as it goes. So I'd rather have this movie pushed out further and have it be good than rushed and be bad. The whole storyline's nobody officially knows like what it is, but it could be anything like Deadpool kills the Fox universe or some kind of Weapon X story or anything. I mean, they did that already with Wolverine Origins, so hopefully they don't do that again, but you know how that goes. Couple notable books to look out for, because a lot of people, when this book got hot, were looking for other kind of like Deadpool Wolverine / books, and like that Toys R Us book, that a lot of people were looking for, which was the first meeting of Deadpool and the X-Men, and technically Wolverine and Deadpool don't share any panels together in that book, so that's a little wishy-washy. You got the Circle Chase, which is where it got really hot. Deadpool's first solo. Wolverine's not in that. Kind of a cool book as well. You got Wolverine 54, which is this crazy Liefeld cover with Wolverine and Deadpool together on the cover, and it's a 2-part series that was a pretty cool book. Not my favorite cover, though. And you have Wolverine 155 right after that, which more to hear from that one as we go on. So there's a lot of cool keys that attach them together. You probably, there's some that I think are better to look out for than others.
Yeah.
Definitely this 88 book, I think, is the best one. I would say this is the best one of the bunch. And there's a newsstand version out there. It's hard to find. It garnishes about 2 times value if you can find it at that 9.8 level. And the weird thing is, I don't know why I didn't remember this either, but there's deluxe editions and regular editions of these books. And it's like, until this book got popular, like nobody remembered it. And they were like, oh yeah, there's 2 versions of this book, where the deluxe one has like better paper and was made of higher quality than the regular one. And they charged you more money for it back in 1994, which was kind of crazy, right? Kind of a weird concept. So there's a lot of people that say that the regular edition should be worth more money in a 9.8 than the deluxe, because it would have been harder to keep it in better condition. The deluxe should stay nicer. I don't know. It's a weird topic, but you want to get into the real numbers, you got to talk to this guy.
Well, standard. It's quite standard to pay for a CDC 9.8 a year ago. $660. Now $456.
It's still expensive.
Range 308 to as high as 900. I guess someone overpaid on that. Average sale is 514. It's a 24% drop. There's 620 total graded. 144 of those are 9.8. So that's only 23%. It's kind of on the high in regards to just the cutoff point of what you want to get to the ratio of 9.8 to total. It's still really good. 20 to 25 is pretty dang good. Below that is crazy. It's crazy. So not bad. Not a bad book to pick up. Crazy. Yes. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. All right, guys. Number 2 on the list. I thought we would go back and forth, but we didn't. We're going right back to Wolverine. And it's Wolverine 155 from 2000. Good year. The millennium year. We got Rob Liefeld, goodness, and Eric Stevenson writing this story. I don't know. I mean, I put this out there. This is maybe Rob Liefeld's best cover. Maybe. It's a pretty darn good cover. Deadpool looks really cool. Wolverine's got crazy face in that Hulk 340 homage. It may be the best homage to Hulk 340.
I think so.
Love to hear your guys' favorite Hulk 340 homage down in the comments down there. And yeah, this is just basically the conclusion to the 2-part Wolverine versus Deadpool. And it's worth a lot of money as a awesome Rob Liefeld cover. It's a strange thing to say, but it happens. That's good, you know. He does a good job. He does a good job. You know, same thing. More movie spec. Deadpool 3 coming out, getting this, you know, getting them on the same cover, getting them battling together. We're not even sure if they're, I'm guessing they're going to battle each other in the movie. They got to, right? Like one fight at least. Bunch of just stabbing each other, breaking each other's arms.
Yeah.
Hopefully not cutting any heads off, right?
I saw some like play acting they were doing, or they were throwing like the green thing to like mimic what they were doing. It shows I think Wolverine throwing Deadpool through a wall.
Oh,
and
nice.
Like gets back up. It's pretty cool.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. And keep a lookout, guys. This is part of that newsstand time when they're very, very rare. Zach will tell you, always look for that newsstand in the early 2000s. What's the cutoff date?
Cutoff date, I believe, for Marvel is 2011. Like 2011, after 2011, nothing. For DC, I think it's 2014.
Yeah, so a little bit longer on the DC mark. So keep an eye out for that one. Zach about to show you these numbers.
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine were killing the Marvel Universe in a good way. A year ago, for a CGC 9.8, it was $275. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine are just killing those gains now. aka losses, at $150 for a 9.8. Range, $146, $290. Average sales average sales 210, excuse me. It's a 45% drop. There's 256 total graded, and 298 of them are CGC 9.8 universal. That's 45% of the total grade. So getting this book in a 9.8 is actually not that hard, comparably, if you have a good eye. And CGC is on the ball. Sometimes they're off. Right before lunch, they're hungry, and they give a book that should be at 9.8, 8.5.
That happens. That definitely happens.
But not bad, not bad. Pretty cool Deadpool book.
Yeah, it's a good, very cool book, but definitely one of those possible FOMO accidental books where it gets hot and you pay top dollar for it. If you would have waited 1 year later and be subscribed to the ComicGains channel, you would know now is a good time to pick that up.
And like Adam was alluding to, you have to look very closely towards where the barcode is, because just like 5 years ago, people did not care too much. People were paying a little bit more for a newsstand, but like 5 years ago, you take a look at that, and you're like, this book's worth $100 more, and they got it for a regular one that's not a like direct edition for like that price. So I bought that 155 for like $200, and I sold it for like $400 or $500.
How dare you?
How dare
you
get those gains?
All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for making it all the way to the last book on the drop list. Number 1 on the list. It is Hellblazer, number 1, 1988, DC/Vertigo, Dave McKean and James Delano. This is the premiere issue of John Constantine's first ongoing series. Really good cover, too. Mm-hmm. Really cool cover. And if you guys didn't know, first appearance of Papa Midnight, who we got to see in the movie, was played by Jaman Hussan. and did a killer job on that role.
Yeah,
I hope that if they use Papa Midnight again, they recast him again. He's just awesome in like any comic book movie. Shazam, the killer Shazam wizard. Yeah, just some. Constantine has a lot of keys. So if you're ever getting confused on like what the keys are, what you should be looking for, Saga Swamp Thing 25 is his first cameo. Obviously, Crisis on Infinite Earth issue 4 is his second appearance, which gets kind of confusing. That book for some reason is way too cheap, I think, for what it is. And Saga of Swamp Thing 38 is his third appearance. So just some stuff to look out for. Yeah, I don't know. This it's very, very cool on this list. And Zach will hit you with the Hellblazer numbers, and then we have a good question for you guys.
All right, it was interesting. I got some explaining to you about this. For a CGC 9.4 on this book, it was selling for $100. It was blazing at $100 a year ago. Now it's $47 for CGC 9.4.
Really?
Yeah, you can get this for a pretty good deal for 9.4.
That's crazy.
Range $24 to $144. Average sell is 91. It's 52% drop. And interesting thing about this book, it goes for a lot in high grades. I guess it's really hard to get a 9.8 in this book. And back up that information. There's 1,628 total graded, and only 253 of them are 9.8s. It's a 15%er, and that's a percentage I really like. It falls in right about at the perfect mark. It's like, tells you this book is highly collectible, or should be highly collectible, but hard to get in a 9.8. 15%, only thing better than 9.7 for that first Swamp Thing. Or first Constantine. Yeah, my bad.
There's a theory to that,
Yeah.
Because back in the day, a lot of the people that were buying DC/Vertigo were mainly all readers. So like people that really read their comics bought those titles, and so almost all of them were read. Whereas people that were buying mainline DC books or Marvel books in general, a lot of those were set aside, weren't even read, just were like, hey, this is a collector's item, I'm going to set it aside. So that's why a lot of the Sandman books are that same way too. Where they're really hard to get the high grades because everybody read them. Like, why would you buy that book and not read it?
Yeah, that's very true.
It'd be a sin.
Be a sin.
Maybe not.
Against God.
Maybe. That's what people say. But, I don't know, guys. That's the battle you get to see. It's a little bit of a trade-off. It's almost a Constantine Wolverine sandwich. But which of these books do you think is the better to spec on? I would think first Constantine, but it is DC. Would be better spec, but it kind of seems like these Wolverine Deadpool keys are pretty good, and that's obviously more of the guaranteed movie that's going to come out. So who do you think is the better spec character down the road? And Zach will hit you with his pick of the week, and it's not his booger.
All right, my pick of the week is going to be a little bit controversial. Not in controversial as in it's a bad pick. It's as in it's like, oh, that's not usually your norm. It's the most expensive book on the list. It's Swamp Thing 37, First Constantine. I think that's actually the best pick out of all of them. I think it has the longest legs in the game. I don't think it matters if you get it raw or graded. Ideally, if you get it graded, you want a high grade copy. Ideally, buy it already graded. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money, but I think this book has legs for days. It has a low percentage 9.8s. So if you get a 9.8, perfect. If you don't, get it raw. Have it raw. I think that book will give you gains. I won't just say gains 5 more times.
You could give your children gains.
Give your children. It's a great character. It has a lot of potential. I think what they're going to do is introduce him in a Justice League Dark. I think they're going to introduce him as a team. It's going to be kind of cool. Hopefully they use Keanu Reeves.
They'll probably they're already agreed that they're going to do Swamp Thing first. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably see him somewhere like Swamp Thing 2, I bet.
That'd be cool.
Once they do. Because they probably will introduce him in Swamp Thing 1. Hopefully not. Don't let him steal the show.
And
let Swamp Thing grow. Put some Miracle Grow on.
Miracle Grow on there. I think the Wolverine 155 would be a bargain book too. I think you could probably double your money on that. But I'm telling you, get the first Swamp Thing. You'll thank me later.
Yeah, we all need to get it.
I need to get it.
All right, guys, that wraps up the drop list for this week. And if you love hearing this as much as we love delivering it, do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the show. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell because you always know when we're going live. And we'd like to do that every Wednesday when we get the opportunity so we can do Q&A with our friends out there in the community. And leave a comment down below. We asked you a lot of cool questions this week. Who do you like specking on better, Constantine or Wolverine? And I like it that they rhyme.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. And Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, you gotta share how you do this. You gotta go to this really awesome place that, we all pay for, anybody that works and the government pays for, whatever. You go there, you gotta peruse the aisles, pick out some great stuff, take it home, make sure you get your card, library card. You need to support your local libraries. And guess what? They also have comics, so get your comic book
I actually
games.
heard they have a lot of good DVDs to rent for free.
I love DVDs.
I know you do.
I do. And they also have an online thing. I think you can watch movies on there. Too.
Stream?
Yeah.
Library streaming?
I think so. It's pretty crazy.
You're missing out. It's 2023, almost 2024.
Libraries.
Libraries.
They need to stay. You need to give them your support. And that's how you get those library gains.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Shh. Be quiet in the library.